everyone and welcome to or back to my channel. My name is Sydney if you're new here, and if you're not new here, then welcome back. So today is a very exciting video and one that I have been meaning to film since I was in England, because I was just in England for 2 months. But you know, I was so busy. Anytime that Charlie and I tried to sit down to film this video, I was like, I'm so exhausted, because if you did not know, I was working while I was there, and so I was working mostly US hours, so I would get done super late, and then the weekends we were busy, and it was just a chaotic few months. And so here I am recording this engagement Q&A by myself, but I know what Charlie is gonna answer for some of these anyway, so I'm just gonna like go through your questions. So a little bit of background if you are new here. I've been in a long distance relationship with my now fiance for 7.5 years. It'll be 8 years in April. And when I was visiting him over Christmas, he proposed, and so now we are planning our wedding, and it's just so exciting. So without further ado, let's just get right into the questions, because I'm gonna talk too much and we need to get into the questions. So I asked you guys to ask us questions on Instagram about our engagement, the proposal, wedding, everything. And so I kind of grouped them into a few groups. So the first one's gonna be about the proposal, then about the ring, then wedding plans, and then future plans. Starting off with the proposal, let's talk about how it happened. So it was Christmas Day. I knew that Charlie had the ring because we had went and looked at them together, and I knew that he had already talked to my parents, and so I was like, okay, it's gonna happen any day now. I woke up on Christmas, and it was my first Christmas spending it in the UK, so Charlie was of course super happy. I thought, oh, he's just super happy because like obviously I'm here for Christmas, and I really didn't think anything of it. For a little bit, I was a little bit suspicious. I was like, oh, I feel like something could happen, but then it got to be like 8 o'clock at night, and I was like, nah, it's not gonna happen. I went upstairs, I went to the bathroom, I came downstairs, I was so certain that it wasn't gonna happen anymore. Like I had my huge UGG platform, not platform, they're like normal size, but they're big slippers, and if you know me, I'm taller than Charlie, so I was super tall with these UGG slippers on. I came downstairs stomping, opened the door, and there he was in front of the Christmas tree with the ring in his Santa Claus Primark jumper sweater. And there it was, it happened, it was super sweet. If you know Charlie, you know that he is very like low-key, he's very sentimental and very, he likes everything to be personal instead of just like out there and for the world. But it was so him, and it was so sweet, and so it was just him there, and then his dad and his stepmom, and it was super duper sweet. And yeah, so that's kind of how it happened. And literally afterwards I was like, Charlie, I had these huge slippers on, and you're literally in a Christmas sweater, has Santa Claus on it, but I would not want it any other way. So I do have a video of the proposal on my TikTok, so if you want to go check that out, you can. But yeah, that's how it happened. So going back in time, now that you know that, how did you know it was the right time for like an engagement, especially in a long distance relationship? So we have been talking about getting married for many years now. Obviously, we were both in school, we didn't have jobs and everything before now. So last year we both graduated, and now we're kind of solid in our jobs and in our career paths, and we were like, you know, we want to end the distance. It didn't make sense any time before then, but now I feel like we're in a place where we both have our own money, we kind of have our own careers and everything, and so it just made sense to start that process. Now, I'm not saying that it's literally gonna happen tomorrow, because we'll talk about this later, but we do have some time to wait still. But it was kind of like, we've been doing long distance for almost 8 years now. We want to take the next step in our relationship, and we feel like we can do it right now. So that's how we knew. We're just ready. We're like ready for the next step, and I think that's about as much as I can say about that. So what conversations did you have before you got engaged? So we basically, the number one thing was about like, where are we moving? Which I'll talk a little bit about future plans at the end of this video, but we had to kind of come to an agreement on that. We had to come to an agreement on our timeline for like when we want to move, where we're gonna move, how we're gonna move, all those things. A lot of things that I feel like non-long distance relationship couples don't have to talk as much about. They might have to talk about like, oh, are we gonna get a house together? Those kind of things, but there are a lot of like logistics to figure out with marrying someone from another country and wanting to close a distance. So we talked about that, and just, we didn't really have any like specific conversations. It's just kind of like we've been talking about it for a few years now, and we both knew that it was about the right time. So the next question is, how did Charlie ask my parents? He called them and just basically FaceTime them and talk to both my mom and my dad and just ask for their blessing, of course. And they were like, Charlie, if we didn't like you, you would know by now. And so yeah, he just called them, FaceTimed them, told them what he wanted to do, and they said yes, and that was that. The next question is, who knew beforehand? I don't know. This would be a good thing for Charlie. I feel like his dad knew that he was gonna do it that day. His dad like literally had all these ideas and was telling Charlie all these ideas and he did not do any of them. But I think that Charlie's dad knew the day that he was gonna do it and no one else knew. And that's how I like it to be. There was no one like, I don't know. I just like it to be us and like his dad and his stepmom were there and it, like I said, it was just really personal and cute. So yeah, I don't think anyone actually knew that it was happening then, but everyone knew it was coming, if that makes sense. How long had Charlie been planning the proposal? I wish he was here to talk about this. He said, I woke up on Christmas Day and I was like, I want to do it today because you don't have very many things to open. Because I told him, I was like, I knew he was going to buy a ring. So I was like, do not buy me anything for Christmas. Like, I do not want you to spend all that money on me. Like, we aren't huge gift people anyway because we spend so much money like going to see each other and going back and forth. And so I think he just kind of felt bad that I didn't have very much to open on Christmas, which was, I literally did not care at all. But he said he woke up on Christmas and he was like, I'm gonna do it today. And then he's like, I had your ring out in a shoe in the hallway all day. Like I just couldn't figure out how to do it or when to do it. And he was like nervous, which is funny because like, I mean, I guess it's a big thing. It is a big deal, but like it's me, so. I don't know. Did you expect it all or was it a surprise? So as I kind of said with the proposal story, I thought it was gonna happen that day just by the way he was acting and I knew that he had the ring and I knew he had already talked to my family. If you can't tell, I'm very like, I like to know what's going on. And Charlie also is not very good at keeping secrets and he's not very good at like surprises and hiding things. Like I've known almost every single gift that he's gonna give me before he gives it to me. So I was expecting it, but I don't know if I was, once it got to the end of the day of Christmas, I was like, nah, it's not gonna happen today. And yeah, so it was a surprise because I had pretty much given up on the idea of him doing it that day, but then it happened. So it was super sweet. And then did you feel anything different about the day? Kind of like what I already said. Yes, I felt different, but also I didn't know if it was just because it was my first Christmas in the UK and he was super happy, so I couldn't really tell. But that kind of wraps up the whole proposal section. So now we're gonna go in to talk about the ring. Did you give any clues as to which ring you wanted? Yes, because the first rings, like years ago when Charlie would send me pictures of rings, I would be like, they were not good. And I'm not gonna say what they were because maybe you have that style of ring, but I was like, we are not on the same page here. And he was like, but I wanna pick it out. And I was like, but I'm wearing it for the rest of my life. But I wasn't gonna be super picky, of course. So I did send him pictures and then we just ended up, I think this is where's your ring from and who picked out the ring and is there a meaning behind the style of the ring? So those are all the questions, so I can kind of go into them now. So when I got to England this past trip, we hadn't like actually went and looked at rings together and I thought, okay, he's gonna get the clue like when I look at the rings together. So we went to a store called Goldsmiths, and if you know the UK, you know that's a really good jewelry store, and we looked at some rings there and I kind of knew, I've always known that I wanted like 3 stones. So I'll give you guys, I haven't shown you even. I'll like give you a close up here. So this is what it looks like. I knew that I wanted 3 stones, but I knew that I didn't want anything ginormous because my fingers are actually so tiny. So I didn't want it to look ginormous. So we tried on some from Goldsmiths the day that we went. We went to another store, but like Goldsmiths was just like superior. I loved them. They were so nice and so helpful and they answered all my questions about like, you know, if something were to happen with my ring when I was in the US and all that kind of stuff. So we kind of both picked out the ring because I basically was like, I want 3 stones and Charlie wanted 3 stones and the meaning behind the 3 stones, okay, this is what's funny. I'm sorry, this is literally like so all over the place, but I had always wanted 3 stones, but I didn't know that he wanted it too, and he knew that it was called a trilogy ring, and so then when I looked it up, it means like the past, present, and the future, which I think is so sentimental for us, because like in a long distance relationship, our past and what we're going through now and our future is all gonna look so drastically different that I think it's really cool that it like symbolizes that. He wanted a trilogy ring, and I wanted something that had like multiple stones, but not like stones all the way around the ring. We both kind of had the same idea, and then the one thing that I feel like I persuaded him on was gold, because I'm not wearing very much jewelry right now, but I always wear gold jewelry. I have very like olivey skin tone, and so silver has never really been my thing. He wanted white gold, but I was like, let's just go look at some yellow gold, and he saw it and he's like, actually I really like that. So we both kind of picked out the ring, but we kind of wanted the same thing to begin with, and it was just the color that we kind of went back and forth on. My ring is a trilogy ring, as I said. It's 18 karat gold, kind of a thinner band, which is good because my fingers are really, really, really small. And you can see it has round stones. I had originally wanted oval, but I didn't realize like oval is so extremely expensive, and I would rather have a little bit bigger round diamonds than like tiny, tiny, tiny oval diamonds. And a lot of them, it looked like too much like in a line. So you see how this has like, the way it's set is like in a little like triangle almost. I really liked that. And then the overall weight of all the diamonds is 1 carat. So the center one is a half a carat, and then the other 2 are 0.25, I guess. I guess that adds up to 1. Yeah, that is the ring. I absolutely love it. It is perfect. It fits me so well, and like it's so sparkly. I can't stop looking at it, and everyone that has seen it has been like, oh my gosh, I love it. And then when I got home, because obviously my family wasn't there, I realized that it's very similar to the ring that my mom has for her anniversary ring. It was a trilogy ring. It was also gold. It looks a little bit different, but it's kind of cool that we both kind of have the same kind of ring. So last little look of her. We love her, absolutely beautiful. And yeah, he did a really great job with my help. So the next section is gonna be all about the wedding, which I kind of wanted to do this video. I wasn't gonna film this. I was like, nah, I'll just skip this video, whatever. But I do wanna start a wedding planning series on my channel. I've seen some of my friends on YouTube do this, and I think it's so fun because it's helpful to other brides, but also it's fun to look back on, and especially because we're kind of having a longer engagement, which I'll get into. It'll be cool to see like how things all come together. So I'm planning on filming after this a wedding vlog, like my #1. So what I'm gonna do is like make different episodes, and each episode will be like maybe 15 to 20 minutes long, but it'll just be composed of like what I've done within that time frame since the last one. So I'll pick up my camera and vlog anytime that I do anything for the wedding. So with all of that in mind, the first question was, how long of an engagement do you want? And then what is your wedding planning timeline? And then when is your wedding? So this all kind of goes together. So a lot of things came into play here. So we need a summer wedding because my mom's a teacher and I want her to have like the full time to completely enjoy it and enjoy his family being here. We knew that we needed it to be later in the summer because his nephews are going to be our ring bearers, and they get out of school. If you know anything about the UK school system, they get out of school in the middle of July, and then the US system, we go back to school in the middle of August. So there really was like a small period of time that we could have it. And because there are so many logistics to figure out with like his family traveling and saving up, we couldn't do it in 2023 because obviously that's like 7 months away, and I think I would lose my mind if I had 7 months to plan a whole wedding. Not the wedding planning part. If you watch my next video, I actually have a lot of things done, but it's the logistics of like figuring out how people are gonna get here, where they're gonna stay, all that is gonna take some time. Our wedding is July 20th, 2024, and so we are going to have a 1.5 year long engagement. I've always wanted kind of between a year to 2 years of an engagement because I just think it's fun to be engaged, and like I love this like exciting time. Like I've been engaged for almost 2 months now, and it's been so much fun, especially like coming back. My mom and I have been to so many bridal expos and like just enjoying it. I definitely wish we were together for most of our engagement because we will be apart, but I just want to enjoy it, plan it leisurely, get the big things out of the way, and then I can think about all the fun things later. So yeah, our wedding is July 20th, 2024. Our wedding planning timeline is between that, and our engagement will be a 1.5 years by the time we get married. So the big question is, where will the wedding be? One non-negotiable has always been that I want my wedding to be in the United States, no matter where we go after, where we go before. My family is huge. Majority of them do not have passports, whereas his family is a lot smaller, and in the UK, like pretty much everyone has a passport. It's pretty normal. And so it's always been, we're gonna have our wedding here, regardless of where we have to do the legal part of it. The way it worked out with like our future plans, which I'll talk about a little bit later, we are having the wedding in America. We're having it, okay, so originally I had thought, okay, I'll make it in like a big city so they can come to America and not have to come to my like small town. But then everyone was like, no, Cindy, we wanna see where you grew up, like your hometown, like experience small town USA essentially. So it's not in my hometown, it's about like 30 to 45 minutes away from here, but it's at this beautiful venue that has, it's like a barn, and it has the ceremony space at the same location, and also has 2 houses on the property. So everyone from his family and my family can stay the night before the wedding and the night of the wedding. So those were a few things that like I thought was really good because that like gets a lot of the logistics out of the way for us, at least for his like family and the bridal party. But I'll talk more about the venue in my wedding planning vlogs. But yes, it's gonna be here in America in July and close to my hometown, which will be super fun to show his family and inviting all of his friends. Small town USA, I don't think it's that fun, but they're gonna think it's fun, and Charlie is like excited to show them all, so I'm excited for him. And then the last thing for the wedding plans is, what is something special you would like to incorporate into your wedding? So I don't exactly know how I'm gonna do this, but I would love to incorporate like a little bit of British tradition with a little bit of American tradition. And like as far as like wedding traditions go, I feel like they're pretty similar. There are some differences. We have been looking at like some ideas, but you'll have to stay tuned for the wedding planning videos on all of that. But I definitely want to incorporate two cultures and just give his family like a taste of American life, but then also have some stuff that makes it fun for my guests to like be at a British kind of wedding. So that is all with the wedding plans, especially because I'm gonna start my wedding planning video today. But then the last section, I just have two questions. Future plans. So the first question is, do you have any honeymoon plans? We're thinking right after our wedding, Charlie's family and my family and then like his friends, we're all gonna go to Florida to like go to Disney World or the beach or something fun like that, like go on a big family trip, because this will be the first time that my family meets his family, which will be super fun. I'm actually like more excited about that than the actual wedding itself, like just having all of our people in the same space. Oh, I'm getting like goosebumps, but I'm just so excited. Like our two worlds colliding, and like it's gonna be expensive, but it's gonna be worth it, and it's gonna be so much fun. So we're not going on a honeymoon right after we get married because we want to take that time to like show his family the US and let our families get to know each other a little bit better. But then our plan is later on, once one of us moves, because I'm gonna talk about it in a minute, we're gonna go on a big honeymoon, like probably a cruise around Europe. So that will be further down the line when we can save up for it, because we are gonna have a lot of money spent on visa fees and moving and all of that. Eventually down the line, we will go on a cruise. We've always wanted to go on a cruise together, and a cruise around Europe. I think that would be super fun. But as far as like right after the wedding, both families going to Florida, living it up, having so much fun. And then the last question is, does this mean you are ending the distance? So yes. I know last time I recorded a video, and it's kind of funny because it was like I was so solid in what my plan was, that I said I was doing the K1 visa and Charlie was gonna come here on the K1 visa, and that has changed some. I'm not ready to really put it out on the internet what our exact plan is, but all you need to know for now is yes, we will close the distance. We might have to spend a little time apart when we first get married, but that's okay, because we are closing the distance, and our goal is to be like completely 100% no more distance by like end of 2024, if not sooner than that. So that's so exciting. Those are all the questions that I had from you guys. Thank you so much for submitting them. This is such a fun time for this channel, because it's like all of you have been following us since we were like 15 years old, and here we are like almost 24 about to get married. So I just want to say thank you all to being a part of our journey and for encouraging us so much and being so invested in this. And I hope you guys are looking forward to all the fun wedding videos. I'm so excited to start filming, but until then, I will talk to you later. Have a great day, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye!